are you? I trust you're having a lovely Saturday. So it's been a while since I came live, but yeah, today I felt I wanted to talk about why I embodied my feminine magnetism in the first place and how it changed my life and marriage. So if you're joining in, please say hi. Hi, Flynn. Hi, Gladys. Say hi as you join in and tell me where you are joining the call from. Okay. I've had a lovely morning and I hope you have had a beautiful day too. All right. So I know everyone, and if you're new to my page, because I've gotten so many new people joining, my name is Miss Linda and I'm your feminine energy marriage coach. I help you get back love, feel safe, feel desired, even if you've been in your relationship for 6 years, 7 years, and maybe you're separated and contemplating divorce. I help you get back intimacy and connection, especially if you're a career-driven woman over 40. Okay, so let's dive right in. As you're joining in, feel free to say hi and tell me where you're joining the call from. So I want to chat about why I embodied my feminine energy. Okay, and just to even talk about this, feminine energy is not something that it's become like a buzzword that everybody wants to talk about, and then it's like this abstract thing. Okay, in fact, I was actually going through one of my books. I love to read. If you are a bookworm like me, go and take this book. This is one of my favorite books. I'm obsessed with Robert Greene, but yeah, this is, you can even see it's really thick and big, and yeah. Okay, so it's called Laws of Human Nature. So feminine energy, where does it come from? It comes from, there is actually a universal law of gender. There is a universal law of gender, and what it says that every man, every woman has both feminine and masculine energy within them. Okay, so for me, I grew up, I'm a firstborn. I had a very successful corporate career. I was always used to being in charge, leading, controlling. And I was always what you call I was a tomboy. I remember even when I joined uni, one of my friends told me, one of my guy friends was like, Linda, I never see you hanging out with ladies. Yeah, I was your typical tomboy. So the very first time I heard about feminine energy, I immediately pushed it aside because I always associated it with being weak. It meant that it was a very shallow concept to me. So I never really understood what that whole perspective of femininity was. Yeah, so I realized femininity is not weak. It's just that we live in a society that really praises the masculine way of living. Even the other day, I made a post about decentering men, and there was a very clear divide. Yeah, I got like almost 100 men following my page, but then there was a very clear divide with the women. Okay, and my perspective is this: if you are having to decenter a man, already that energy is a very competitive energy. We all understand self-love, we all understand self-care. But if you are in a relationship and immediately your mind is thinking, I have to decenter a man so that I can feel good about myself, that automatically puts you in a masculine energy. Why? Because you are having to think, you are having to react, you are having to compete. So I realized that feminine energy is not something that is weak. It's already a part of me. I was born a woman, yeah? I was born a girl, but over time, because of being told you have to toughen up, you have to be responsible, you have to be strong to survive in the world, it was never safe for me to let some of my girly, true essence of who I am shine. It was actually a very vulnerable thing for me to allow myself to be who I truly was. Before everyone came and told me, Linda, you're not supposed to talk this way, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be responsible, you're supposed to think, you're supposed to do. And most of these qualities are really associated with your masculine side. Okay, so that was the first mistake I made, thinking that he's weak. Another big mistake I made was thinking that feminine energy is all about looks and appearance. Now, this is a very big thing. In fact, one of the things that put me off feminine energy, I used to, every time I would look at, this was 6 or so years ago, I used to look on the internet and I'm like, all the femininity coaches, first of all, had a certain skin color. They had certain kind of hair. They were a certain size. And I mean, I'm a dark-skinned girl. I wear glasses. At that time, I was 39. I never felt like this was something that was for me. And slowly with time, I got to realize, no, there are different looks. We all have very different personalities. We all have very different looks. So there is no one size fits all. And of course, we live in a world that just pushes out one style of beauty. And it had limited me, and I was like, no, maybe this is not for me. But I came to realize, no, owning your own essence, owning your own style of beauty is actually a huge part of femininity. So there is no one size fits all. Okay, and of course, there is the outer appearance. But the most underrated part of feminine energy, and this is something I also learned, were cultivating your own qualities. So some of the qualities, and feel free to drop your questions as we go along. Okay, so some of the qualities that are associated with being feminine, and most of the times these are things that are shunned. Okay, your creativity, your intuition, your love for beauty, your round, because even if you look at a female body, it's curvier, it's rounder. Your, playfulness, joy, color, vision, because intuition is related also with your ability to see things. And you will find a huge part of what I do, for a long time, I was always doubting myself. Like, this is one aspect I think any woman can relate, where you know what you want, but you doubt yourself. Yeah? Like, even right now, I was like, do I come and do this live? Yes, I wanted to do the live, but then I'm like, what am I really going to say? And then I almost decided, let me just go and hang out with Happy downstairs. You see that element of doubt. And the reason why so many of us as women are taught, doubt ourselves is because we are taught not to trust our natural instincts, which is intuition. Because remember, intuition is not a logical thing. And that's why many times, like some of you, when you come to me, yes, part of the work I do, I remind you who you are. Yeah, most of the times you already know what you're meant to do. And of course, there are skills that I will teach you, because healthy love is a learned skill. But a huge part of being a feminine woman is being able to trust your own intuition, being able to connect, being able to feel all range of feelings. And yesterday I posted about anger. Yeah, there are so many women walking around with anger outbursts. And that is because there is a lot of unresolved pain that women are bottling inside their bodies. Yeah, so maybe you had issues growing up with your mom and dad, then you move on, you have had heartbreaks from your relationships, maybe you're going through a rough patch with your hubby, maybe your friends are disappointing you over time. And now that I'm about to turn 43, all this pain gets accumulated in your body. And because many times for women, we do not know, we are not taught how to manage our emotions, at least I wasn't, yeah, you will find it manifests in certain ways. You might find yourself blowing up. Your kid tells you something, you just flare up. Your hubby tells you something, you haven't, you're just going around just having so much anger misdirected at people. And that's because we are not taught how to contain our range of emotions. We are taught that the feminine is crazy. You are not supposed to feel all these things, so you shut them down inside your body. Okay, so that's the other misconception, that you're not supposed to have all this range of emotions. The problem is not that you are having the emotions. The issue is that you do not know how to first of all, address the issues. You don't know how to respond to your body. You do not know how to locate these feelings and emotions so that you can understand, am I really being triggered here? What is the message in this emotion? How do I handle this emotion? So I have just given a very high level perspective of what feminine energy is. And also a huge part of being feminine, this is something I also learned, is being able to receive. Okay? Receiving is a huge part of being a woman. Okay? I mean, even if you look at your own womb and your private parts, the way the body carves in, it's because it's supposed to be able to receive. Okay, and now on the opposite side, how does the masculine look like? You're always controlling, you're always leading, you're always logical, moving forward, making fast decisions. And on the other side, the feminine is more, there's a lot of feelings. Being in tune with your body, being able to feel the sensations, yeah, which is very different from the masculine side, which is logical, thinking, feeling, doing, and moving. Okay, now the thing is, it's not that there is nothing wrong with our masculine side, because that is the side that has made me even come here and do this live. My masculine side, yes, I do a very feminine-led sort of business, but I have to be in balance. I have to be able to be in balance, okay? So there is nothing wrong with your masculine side. One thing is, I'm getting some of my clients, some of them are becoming the providers in their homes. And I tell them, there is nothing wrong. If you want to be the provider, there is nothing wrong. The problem is that you're not able to balance the two energies. And of course, you need to also have agreements with your man, because that's a very different sort of relationship. Okay, so like I mentioned, femininity is not weak. It's who you truly are as a person. As a woman, before everyone told you how to think, how to do, how to be. Yeah, it's not just about your body and your clothes and your hair and your makeup. Yes, that's a huge part of it, but there are also your internal qualities which you need to remember. Your intuition, your beauty, your receptivity, all these are a part of you. And it's also good to realize that we live in a world that, as human beings, actually, we are coded to survive. That's the primary reason. That's it's like our default mode is to survive. Okay. So actually, even if you go back, I was looking at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the base of the pyramid is survival instincts: food, shelter, and clothing. Yeah? And to be able to do that, you need to be in your masculine so that you can go hunt and look for food and come back and make sure there's food, shelter, and clothing. When you move out the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's where the pleasure comes in. In fact, to be honest, I was even telling my son, yeah, you're not going to marry if you do not have money. People are not supposed to love if you're broke. It does not make sense. And that's why there's a lot of pain and suffering, because even as per the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basis is food, shelter, and clothing. And of course, with time, life happens, things happen, that's okay. But at least at the fundamental, at the base, there has to be food, shelter, and clothing. That's why any person who comes to me and tells me, Linda, I do not have a job and I want to learn how to embody femininity, I immediately tell her, go and make sure your food, shelter, and clothing is taken care of. Because as women, we have to first of all feel safe. You have to feel safe, because that's just how we are coded as human beings. Okay, so like I've said, one of the things that I realized even in my own femininity journey, and let me see if there are any questions coming up. Like I've said, there is nothing wrong with being in your masculine side. Yeah, that is just who you are. The issue is, are you out of balance? Okay, so what happens if you are out of balance? And one other thing, and this one I tell anyone, yeah, And by the way, oh yeah, all the ladies who have purchased the Marriage Glow Up Playbook, thank you so much. There are so many of you who have already purchased and downloaded, and I share all the secrets in terms of exactly steps that I took that helped me go from almost divorced to getting back love. And you saw this morning, we were out for, a lovely walk with hubby in the morning, and we've just come back from brunch. We're about to have a call with Benny. I mean, honestly, these are things that I think any woman, it needs to be like a rites of passage that us as women need to go through so that we can feel loved. And I don't know why they hide this information away from us. I do not know why this work is not like part of our education system. Yeah, it's such an easier way of relating with yourself and even with other people. So anyway, if you're interested in knowing all the details, go check out the profile and download the Marriage Glow Up Playbook. Okay, so like I've said, there's nothing wrong with your masculine energy. What is wrong is when you are out of balance. So how do you know you are out of balance? Yeah, what are some of the signs that you are, as a woman, especially if you're hitting your 40s, that you are too much in your masculine? Number one, you are exhausted. You find yourself exhausted a lot. Another sign you're out of balance, you have anger outbursts that come from nowhere. Another thing, sleep becomes an issue. Also creativity, like you just find, and this one manifests a lot even in maybe just your daily, maybe even like your space. Yeah, maybe even like in your bedroom or in your home. You're not able to beautify the place because beauty is a very feminine thing. And this is not about being expensive, because I remember for the longest time, I just never had time. I never even used to buy flowers for my home. I couldn't. Like, my mind was so busy on other more important things. So that is another sign you're out of balance. It's hard for you to beautify your space. So beauty looks like your dressing, your space, even maybe something like even the notebooks you're writing with. So beauty, you will find for a woman who is a lot in her masculine, she starts to look at beauty like it's such a frivolous thing. Another thing you will find, even if it's like styles of dressing, you have certain colors. You go for the darker colors, the dark browns, the gray, the blacks, and you will notice most of the corporate jobs, I don't know how it is nowadays, but at least when I was still working in corporate, like the corporate colors were always gray, black, charcoal gray, brown, all the masculine colors. That was what was considered as serious attire. So you will see the programming runs deep. We are already initiated into a world where the masculine is just the default mode. Another sign that you're probably in your masculine is if you hate other women. Yeah, and that's a big thing. You see, as women, it's like a survival instinct for us to, it's just a survival instinct for us to compete. So if you look at another woman who is looking pretty, who is looking beautiful, if your natural instinct all the time is to hate her, chances are there is something about her that you like, but you feel you cannot have for yourself. So you hear people talking a lot about the sister wound. You will find it difficult to make friends. And how is this a masculine thing? It's a masculine thing because the feminine loves connection. We thrive in relationship. That's why anyone who comes and tells me, oh, Linda, you're always talking about men. No, I say, I'm a woman. I'm a feminine woman. And to me, the quality of my relationships is number one. The quality of my relationships is number one. And if my relationship, and right now my primary relationship is with my hubby, if I am not happy, I am absolutely going to figure out how can I be happy in this relationship. Why? Because I am a woman, I am a feminine woman, and I thrive best I do my best work. I feel the best when I have relationships that feel good to me. All right. So if you find you have a big problem making friends, that is also a sign that probably there's something there. Probably you are in your wounded feminine that you may want to look at. Because yes, I know it becomes difficult to make friends the older we get, but at least there has to be 1 or 2 or 3 people who mean something to you, and those relationships, yes, they ebb and flow, but at least there is a nurturing aspect of creating that relationship. So why do I feel femininity changed my life? And even as I'm talking like this, I remember years ago, I was home alone on a Friday night, and I was feeling really like, oh, why am I feeling like this? And I picked a book. Yeah, in fact, I started YouTubing. I was on YouTube searching seduction. And I learned, I stumbled onto a lot of information. In fact, the following day, I went and bought Robert Greene's Art of Seduction book. And that was one of the people who opened me up to what is feminine energy. Because he was talking a lot about the forgotten woman, the qualities that men have always adored about women, that the world today pushes out and says is nothing, is rubbish, is not important, and yet all the successful women had certain qualities about them which was connected to their divine essence. So I was like, what? I must find out what that is. That was my masculine brain. And that's how one of the reasons why I started going deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, another misconception about feminine energy is that it is weak. A feminine woman is able to smile. She's able to be at ease with her man and her loved ones and the people around her because internally she is a very secure woman. Let me say that again. A woman who is in her feminine energy is able to relax, be around her man, take care of whatever it is she needs to take care of, allow love. She's even able to cry on her hubby's shoulder. It does not make her weak. Why? Because internally she is a very secure woman. Internally she has already vetted all the people around her. She has very secure boundaries. I even hate the word boundaries. She is very self-aware. She's able to let go of her guard because she knows that if anything is to go wrong, she knows that she is able to make the best decisions that serve her. That's why she's not chanting, oh, decenter men, decenter men. No. Why are you decentering a man? It's either you're in the relationship or you're out. It's either you are acknowledging where your weaknesses are and working towards them, or you leave. It's not another fight you have to fight again. I mean, if you're like me, I'm so exhausted of all these fights. I am done fighting. There is nothing I'm fighting for. The only thing I want to do is take care of myself and feel good as a woman. So if you have any questions, please drop them below. Okay, so a feminine woman is not soft. She's not like an airhead. She's very secure internally, and she does not have to prove that. That's why even when she's having a conversation with her hubby, even if it's a difficult conversation about Friday nights, she's not going to tell him, I have high standards. No, she doesn't have to do that because first of all, she knows the role that she played. She obviously knows there's a disconnect in the marriage, yeah? And from there, she's able to go and express her feelings and say, babe, I miss us. I feel lonely on Fridays. What's happening here? Versus going to start chanting and saying, decenter a man, because he came in at 5, you want to come in at 6. That is push and pull. So a woman who is in her feminine energy, she's a very secure woman, very secure woman. There's no way you can attract wealth and be with a wealthy man if you have low self-esteem. it's difficult. And let me be real, we live in a world that praises a woman only when she is 20 years old. So the more mature you become, yeah, what you need to cultivate, this is how I started cultivating my feminine essence. Number one, you have to be very secure. You really have to be self-aware. You have to know, what are my weaknesses? What are my fears? What are my insecurities? And work on those. What are the fears you have around men? All the negativity, because most of us grew up seeing our moms and dads and everybody do their own thing. And the reason why you probably are exhausted is because you were taught how to love in a way that is difficult. Your mom, your aunties, everybody taught you how to love in a way that you had to work so hard. Nobody told you that the healthy way to love looks like you being able to communicate your needs. The healthy way to love looks like being able to cultivate attraction. Yeah? You are taught how to love from a place of, oh my goodness, if you do not do this for a man, he is going to leave you. That is the primary conditioning. You are taught how to love from the place of, men cannot be trusted. That is why you are feeling love feels difficult. And for you to be able to get the relationship that you want, and I say whether it is with this hubby or the next hubby, in fact, I was reading statistics. First marriage have approximately 50% chances of divorce. Second marriages, and nobody talks about this. In fact, I saw someone lying on the internet. Probably I'll talk about this. Second marriages have approximately 65% chance of divorce, and third marriages have approximately 73% chance of divorce. Why am I telling you this? Yeah, the more men you keep moving through, the easier it is to leave. Yeah, and the reason, according to me, is because self-awareness is difficult. Nobody wants to change the way they think. You already have a set way of thinking, so immediately you see a sign, you are out. And also, it's part of being in your victim mentality, because we are taught, especially as women, this, remember, is a survival instinct. Survival instinct to always play the victim so that the big bad man does not leave you. So I don't even know how many of you have ever sat down with a pen and paper and consolidated all the feedback you got from all your boyfriends until now. Even without even going that far, the feedback your hubby is giving you right now. Have you ever really sat and thought about it? We find it very difficult. Self-awareness is not easy. Nobody likes to do it. It's easier to sit and blame a man for whatever reasons than having to do the work to reflect and see. And of course, obviously, this is where a coach comes in, because we cannot see our own blind spots. I too get support. I have a coach, and she'll be like, Linda, if whatever you're doing is working, is it working? This is usually her question. Whatever you're doing, is it working? So it's either yes or no. So yes, if it is working, keep going on with it. No, if it is working, you need to change your game plan. Unless, of course, you want to continue having lonely Friday nights, same arguments over and over again, always threatening your in or out. It really is up to you. Okay, so number one, to become a feminine woman, self-awareness is huge. Number two, you have to let go of your past. You have to let go of your past. You have to forgive yourself and everyone. Yes, it will not be easy, because remember, the past is not going to change. It's not going to change. The past is past. It's gone. So, and that's a huge part. You have to let go of the past. And a big part of this is making peace with your relationship with your mom and dad. People talk about your mother, but also your relationship with your father. This is a big lesson that I've had to learn. I have personally, and I love my dad. Actually, he's the man who spoiled me. Yeah, I love my dad to death. But after my mom remarried, my goodness, there was a lot of pain that came up, and I spent a lot of time just releasing and, growing through the father wound. Ladies, you cannot have a healthy relationship with your husband if you do not have a healthy relationship with your dad. That is a big lie. Okay, so your relationship with your father, because your father represents the masculine, yeah? And also, by the way, the relationship you have with your father represents the masculine, and it also represents the relationship you have with money. All these things are energetics, and they're all linked. Okay, so how to be feminine? What I did, I had to become self-aware, know where my weaknesses are, where my insecurities are. Number 2, I had to address the pain and wounding around my dad, father, mother. All that shit has to, yes, and I'll say shit, all that stuff, you have to release and let it go. Number 3, you have to also, and this is a huge one, understand the opposite sex. This is a big one. You're living with a man. A man is not a woman. Yeah? Why is it important to understand the opposite sex? Because you are living with him. So if whatever you're doing is not working, chances are there's something that you don't know. Yeah? And there is no shame in this. Sometimes we feel ashamed because we are smart women, we are know-it-all, we are supposed to figure things out. But I had to give myself grace because I realized, Linda, you're not supposed to know everything. And just the same way when you are applying for a job, then you got the letter, versus you sticking around 3 months in, 6 months in, 12 months in. It's very, very different. Yeah? And this is the other thing. You have to embrace change. Because as women, that's how life is. There are always different cycles. So a big mistake is thinking, oh my goodness, this man used to love me, and then now he does not. No, you're just in a different phase that requires different set of skills. And you can choose. You can either decide to pause, leave this one and go and start over. Or you can choose to really do this work and be like, okay, fine, I need to understand what's happening here. So that you can decide, are you in, are you out? If you're in, you learn the skills. And this is another thing feminine women understand. They know that healthy, happy relationships does not come naturally. I used to think I should just be myself. No, my goodness, hell no. The reason why there's also a lot of pain is we assume this stuff is natural. It's not. So you're not alone. You're not alone. It is not a natural skill. It's a learned skill. And every day I wonder, why do we spend so much time? Yes, we are in our MBA classes. We are learning all these skills of how to succeed in the career. And then when it comes to the most important thing to me, I think there's nothing more important than family. There is nothing more important than family. These children we are raising, we brought them into this world. And I feel it's my responsibility to do the best. Yeah? So, that's the other thing, understanding the opposite sex. That's a huge part because you are living with a man. And let me tell you, anytime a woman says, oh, why do I have to do this? I always tell them, number 1, men understand you very well. Yeah? He's going to treat you the way you expect to be treated. And number 2, men respond. Sometimes people ask me, I also wonder, do I have the same person? No, people respond. People respond. And of course, there is a way of resetting any relationship. And that's why I put together the Glow Up Guide. Go there. Because if you're having the same arguments over and over again, babe, you've reached a point where change is about to happen. Change is happening. You can decide, okay, let me equip myself. Let me be wise. Let me see what this next stage of life is going to look like. How can I be happy as a woman? How can I be happy? How can I be my true authentic self? How can I understand how the opposite sex works? How can I be more magnetic? Because all these are learned skills. All these are learned skills. Okay, so what have I just shared? Number one, how you can start to embody your feminine magnetism. Number one, you have to become self-aware. Number two, let go of the past. Number three, understand the opposite sex. And number four, this is a huge one. Who are you becoming? And if there's nothing else that you have had in this life, I want you to ask yourself, who are you becoming? And one thing you can do, this is September. Right after this call, or if you're taking yourself out for a solo date or you're in your house, I want you to go and do a very simple vision board. Because we all have dream marriages. We all have dream men in our mind. I want you to sit down and write a list of your dream man. This man who is 10 times wealthier, 10 times older than your hubby. And I'm telling you this because this is what I did like 6 years ago. Yeah? Sit down and write a list. Who is this man? I wrote my list and I had like 78 qualities of my dream man, and my mind was blown. And then physically, emotionally, sexually, spirit, like everything, just go and write your dream man. If you have a man who you admire or someone who you imagine, just go and sit and write that. And then against this man, I want you to make a list of the woman who is a match. What kind of a woman is with this man? Because one of the things that sometimes we forget to do as wives is that our lives are bigger. We are the feminine is very expansive. So we vision, we see things. That is a huge part of the feminine essence. So if you just take your eyes away from your husband for even 1 minute and do this simple exercise, make a list of this dream man, all his qualities. 78, I had 78 things. And against that, same list for each and every quality. I remember one of those was I wanted a sober man. That was my dream man. And that time I used to drink like crazy. 2 bottles a night, out with the girls still, I don't know what. I'm like, how can I say I want my dream man is a sober man? What kind of a woman is he gonna be with? A sober woman. I quit booze. Actually, I started my journey to quitting booze. So you see, you cannot ask for what you are not yet. And a big part of manifestation is you have to be clear, what is it that you want? Even as a woman, because remember, you are an individual first. If we just shift your eyes from your man for a minute, you are an individual first. You are an individual first. So do this exercise. What it's gonna do, it's gonna start showing you what the gaps are. It's gonna start showing you what kind of a woman you desire to become. And then from there, you can start to take little steps. And the first step, if you want to start reconnecting your relationship, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, go to my profile, download the Marriage Glow Up Guide. Because the difference between me, this is my perspective, I did not want to reconnect my marriage so that it can go back to what it was. I wanted my dream marriage. And you too deserve to have your dream marriage. And your dream marriage requires a very different version of you. And they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. A woman who is in her victim mindset is always blaming other people. But a feminine embodied woman, she understands that she is the creator of her reality. You can even go and check the law of cause and effect. For every action, there's an reaction from the other side. For every action you take, there's an equal and opposite reaction on the other side. Two women can have the same man, but have very different experiences. Why? And everybody says, oh. No, because based on who you are as a woman, your mindset, your emotions, your skills, who you are, you will be bringing out either a king or a clown. Okay, so let me wrap up. I'm supposed to call Benny. We have Zoom call just now. So yeah, thank you so much for joining in the live. So go check out my link on my profile if you have any questions. I didn't even get to any questions. I just went on and on. So yeah, enjoy yourself and have a lovely weekend. Check out the glow up guide on my profile to get started so that you can enjoy your relationship. And I always say your hubby is gonna pamper a woman. It's gonna spoil a woman. It's gonna take care of a woman. And if he's still with you, he loves you. What is happening right now is change is happening. Change is happening. These constant arguments, it just means you're done with class 1. You now need to move to class 2. That's what a mature woman understands. All right. So check out the details on my profile. If you have any questions for me, feel free to DM me. Bye.